doing in class. We also visited Hillel, the Jewish organization. They talked about you and we said how many things they partner with you on. So we were happy to kind of hear about that.
Nice.
We're intro first. This is Mr. Tari, who's interning with you for National High School, and I'm your teacher.
Oh, great.
So when we just met, I'm like, can we sit in and hear what
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, Steve McCauley would be great for you.
So, let me just tell you, so this neighborhood predominantly was known as antique hotspot. All these stores were antiques. Literally, this store itself was antique store when we got it. The Pakistani Muslims, they started moving in. There was a mosque. As they moved in, I would say in 85 or so, somewhere around there, 1985 or somewhere in that time. My dad bought the first, or opened up the first ethnic Pakistani halal meat store, which was 2 doors down here. So my dad, what he used to do was he used to help everyone who came in. So a person who migrates, when they see a person from their country doing good, they think, oh, they're living the American dream. I want to learn how to do that American dream. So they'll come to them for advice. They came to my dad. If they're looking for a job, they're asking my dad. If they need help with their kids or something, they'll ask my dad, I need to get my kids into the school, I don't know how to do this. Even when they were working, if a person didn't get their paycheck, they used to ask my dad for credit to get the food. And when they got paid, at the end of the week or end of the month, that's when they would pay back their bills. So this is how it all really started. My dad was just helping the people. All of a sudden, 9/11 happened. Now, the reason why my dad was successful is because he had the trust within the community. After 9/11, people trusted him and myself so much that they said, my husband was arrested after 9/11. What do I do? You don't just go to someone and say, my husband's arrested, my son's arrested. So that's what they did. And when they came to us, I was like, okay, let's open up this space that I have, which was COPO. I actually had the lease on the buildings, on the stores for a fabric store and a restaurant. I already opened up my restaurant. I was already doing a construction company. I already had real estate. I was living the American dream. I had 5 businesses running. Every year, I either purchased $1 million business or $1 million building. I was going to retire at the age of 32. I kid you not. I was retired. I had it all planned out. I'm gonna go to Florida. I'm gonna have a boat. I'm gonna have this. I'm done. All the work I did. That's exactly what I was planning. 9/11 happened. I said, let me open up this office space, temporary, help the people, and then I'll go back to my fabric store. But that fabric store never happened. It turned out to be the fabric that held the community together. I had no idea this is what was gonna happen. That's exactly what had happened. All of a sudden, people were talking about how many people, and I want to show you. So there were individuals at that time, victims of a crime, stab wound. Let me see if I can put it up on that. I think I do have that. So, stab wound, I'm just going to show you. And I want to show you them because these are the actual documents, you know? The computer is slowing down. I'm glad I got this stuff. So, here we go. So this is the book. So you're actually seeing the stuff that is on the screen. So you're actually seeing the physical. This is not working so good. Okay. Can you get me Danielle?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need help with this. So this person was stabbed, victim of a crime. He has 40 stitches coming down his stomach. And when the police officer said, who stabbed you? He was afraid to tell anyone. Victims of crimes who were being, how could I say, who were being attacked were not coming forward. This book represents how many cases there were.
Because they were Muslim mostly?
Because majority of
Yeah.
them were Muslim.
Yeah.
Majority of them. This thing, it keeps getting stuck. I try to go next. So let's look at it. So now, this ultimately became a report with the Human Rights Commission, and at that time, it was Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Funny thing is, when I met Michael Bloomberg, he was the mayor. Oh my God, you're a Muslim, you're Pakistani, let's take a picture. I said, no, I'm not here for a picture. I got these problems. And he said, okay, which was great, because that's how I made the change. So this actually became recommendations to the city of New York of what are the steps that they must take. And especially individuals who are from these communities who are being victims of crimes and everything that's happening. How do you work with them? How do you help them? How do you progress with them? So that's what we started to do. This ultimately gave me a way that many of the youth was afraid to talk to the police department. NYPD, forget about it. Even now, kids are afraid to talk to the police department. But we started to make a change. So I started the first FBI Youth Career Day with the FBI. It's the only one in the country. It's the biggest one in the country. So now I have FBI, NYPD, Homeland Security, Secret Service, NYPD, Suffolk County, all the police departments with us. So they all asked me to put their logo on this flyer. It's gonna be happening on May 18th. And if you guys come, you'll see everything. You'll be like, I wanna be an agent. I'm telling you, when I was growing up, if I would've seen this, I definitely would've went to it. Definitely. So I'm running this businesses and running this programs. 5 businesses, and I'm like losing my mind. Ultimately, I sold off my businesses. This is all I did. So I had 1,000 square feet. This is how big that office was. It's next door. It's a little bit bigger, but it was the same, same storefront. What was a volunteer effort, 1,000 square feet, now is 25,000 square feet, 50 employees, 50 volunteers. I had a zero budget at that time because I was doing volunteer. Right now I have a $4.5 billion budget. I've raised so far $40 million in providing help to the community. Now, when I started, it was the Pakistanis. People came to me from India and Bangladesh. They had the same Latino, Haitians. I was like, it was the same problems they had. I changed the name. Now it's called Council of People's Organization. And it took me a longer time to change the name than to really do the operations. But the thing was, this is the amount of people come to me in 1 year. This is the data. This is how I know what a person needs, community needs, what are the issues, how to handle it, what to do. This is what made me make changes to policy, which is an important thing because you can't just change policy. You need to have data. You need to have reports. I can't just say and go to our elected officials, oh, I need this to be changed or this. It has to have backing. This is the backing. This is what causes when I have the mayor, and if you see the pictures of the mayor or the city council member or the public advocate or the previous mayor or the other mayor, they come in, I show them, I said, this is what's going on. They're like, oh my God, let's make a change. Okay, we're gonna help you. We're gonna help the community. And that's how these things progress. Other thing. So when I learned, I went to this thing, it's called FBI Citizens Academy Program. Should be up here somewhere. Federal Bureau of Investigations Certificate of Graduation. So it is a certificate of, I graduated, all right? FBI Citizens Academy. In what? 2003. It was the second class. And because of that class, I understood that so many people who were given hate crimes, the hate crimes were happening to, were majority Jewish community members. Then I learned it's because they knew how to report it well. So we started to do that. We started to get the reports and doing it well for the Muslim community. Then I heard it's the African American community. Then the Latino community also has. I didn't know until I started to learn. As I learned, I realized that I'm about to do this permanent, this nonprofit world, permanent, I have to go back and get education. Guess where I went to education back? I only had a 2-year degree from TCI, so I had to get more educated. You know where I went back? I went to Brooklyn College. I graduated from Brooklyn College with a bachelor's in political science. The professors were telling me this is how you have to do it. You have to get political science, not a business degree. Because I was going back there for a business degree. I'm like, I gotta learn how to run this nonprofit as a business, how to run it. They said, no, Mo, you already got the money. You already know what to do. It's not about that, it's about what are the political aspects of making change. So that's what I was learning. The funniest thing is, there was a professor. Something funny, it was just unbelievable. You know, it's like a professor. I went to college, I was sitting down, you know, new class, political science class, I'm sitting there. The professor is sitting over the corner, and you know, we're all sitting down just like this, and she keeps looking at me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, you know? I felt a little, I felt a little shy, and I was just like, I don't know, maybe she likes me. So, you know the thing that you get from Brooklyn College, you have to go get, what is it called? Oh good God, the curriculum from the bookstore or something. It's like this thick sometimes, you know, you have a lot of articles or something and you have to get it. So behold, it was this thick. On the back of it, her curriculum, on the back of it is a picture of me. I kid you not, I just sat there like, what? It was a picture of me when I was in the news media. It was Village Voice article where it says, what she wrote? Oh my God. Community Empowerment in Contemporary Moment, or something like that, she titled it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm like, what? The best thing was, then she goes, Mo, you're gonna teach that section to the class. Could you imagine the look on my face? I had a Kool-Aid smile. I was like telling them, because all these things I was going through, and I'm not kidding, it was so much stuff I was doing. And I just continued. But because of the work I was doing, I'm gonna show you something. So there's a picture up here of a ticket of that's my ticket to meet the Pope.
Oh gosh.
Got a chance to meet him and shake his hand. I was just like, whoa. It was just like unbelievable, you know? So the reason that happened is because all the work I was doing, there's this guy in the middle. I don't know if you can see it. This white guy, tall guy with a picture of me in it. I don't know, it's a little shiny. Can you guys see that one? The one in the middle,
US flag and the.
Yeah, with a flag and the FBI. Do you know who that guy is?
Oh yes.
You know who that guy is? That guy is Mr. Mueller,
Yeah.
FBI director.
Yeah.
During 9/11, he was the guy in all of the United States who gets the first phone call, who is the one on the phone with the president, on the phone with all the states. He said, I can't believe what you did, Mom. Flew me to Washington, D.C., put me in a hotel. He said, here's an award for doing the best work that I cannot anybody have done after 9/11. Then, if you look up on Google, anyway, if you look up in Google, the 9/11 Tribute Center came by and said, we would like to interview you, and you are one of the, Aisha, give me that thing that says 9/11 Tribute Center stories. I don't remember, what is it, one of 7 stories? Right up there, the first one on the left.
This one, you mean?
Yeah, let me get that one. So they came to my little office and they said they cannot believe what we've done, what I've done. And what is it? September 11, Personal Stories of Transformation. September 11, 8 videos, one of 8. So in Homeland Security, on their website, the story, I'm one of 8. And they were like, this is what communities need to do. I literally, my name on my card said Mo Razvi. Did not say Mohammad Razvi. Because whenever a person was picked up, brought to jail, when I made the phone call for the person to get him out, they're like, Mohammad who? But when I said Mo Razvi, he was like, oh, it's an average guy. I kid you not, that's what I had to do. It's okay. But I was able to help the people. I was able to give them support. I was able to get them free attorneys. I was able to do so much. That's how you make the change. that's the reason why I was invited when they had the Pope coming in for a 9/11 ceremony and doing a presentation. They said, Mr. Razvi, we want you to come. I said, absolutely, it'll be my pleasure. He gave me a chair, I was there, and got a chance to shake his hand. And when he shook his hand, I'm telling you, it's like, it's so surreal. You're like, wow. Forgive me. I was like, he's like, sing through me, But yeah, it was amazing. Furthermore, so now, brings me, because I started to work with our Jewish community members, Christian community members, I built a network, how to work together, tremendously, constantly. The folks who do the Israel Parade, I work with them, JCRC, I work with others, UJA, I work with so many other community members and how to work together, especially for the local community. So there's a dear friend of mine, Rabbi Bob Kaplan, I work with very closely. And like I explained to him and he explains to others, you see the street lamp that's over here? I want to be able to change that bulb at night or get it changed by the city so my daughter and your daughter can cross the street safely. Nothing else. We're talking about what's the need for the community. That's all we were doing. All of a sudden, there was a huge, right now, every time it happens in the Middle East, but there was a huge issue that happened in the Middle East back in 2010 in Akko. So, official Office of the Public Affairs of U.S. Embassy in Israel. They requested me and my dear friend Rabbi Bob Kaplan to come and teach how to get along, how to work together. That's what I've been doing since 2010. I've been doing this tremendously. And I was doing it so well. For 5 years, they funded it, and we were going back and forth every other year or every other 2 years. We did this so well when there was issues, even till today when there's this huge conflict, the people in Akko are trying to communicate, not standing side by side and blaming each other. But that's the difference you can make. And I told them, I'm only a Brooklyn kid who grew up in the projects, but you guys don't know what projects are. You guys know what the projects are? No. Projects are public housing that they call it, affordable housing they call it. Back in the days, it was the worst place to be. Trust me, it was the worst place to be. But I grew up in the projects on food stamps, not EBT card. Food stamps, which were the colored money, looks like Monopoly money if you ever played Monopoly. But anyway, literally, that's what I grew up on. But what I'm saying is, it's because of Brooklyn, because of the interactions I've had then, and because of the interactions I've been having, I was able to go there, talk about, and work together. And then when I tell them we're able to do this, having federal agents, FBI, Secret Service, all of them coming together, presidential limo, helicopter landing, showing the kids this is what you could do, this is what you could be. It was like unbelievable. The people in Israel, they started to have those communications then, opening them up. Furthermore, what I do is I teach to the army base what Islam is. 101, Islam 101. Why are many women wear scarves, some women don't? Why, like my daughter, one wears it, one doesn't. It's their choice. I'm doing those presentations to them. I'm also doing presentations to new FBI agents. When there's a new FBI agent, they have a meeting for like 50 of them or so, and I'm explaining to them, when you're knocking on the door and some young lady says, give me a minute, it's because she's putting on a scarf, not trying to hide something. Many discrepancies, this happens with many of them. But these are the things that I was able to do in these multiple years. Now, I can go on and on talking, but I'd rather give it time to you guys to ask the questions, the tough questions. Did I get stopped by an FBI agent? Absolutely. A couple of times? Absolutely. Secret Service even. I had a case with the Secret Service. They stopped me. Not stopped me, but on the phone, and I met with them. I'm just trying to think, what was the other ones? First time in history I was able to get the FBI agent to address a Muslim, it's a Pakistani parade for Muslims. Never happened before in life. That's over there. I don't know, let me show you what else I can talk to you about. Well, that was Bill de Blasio. That's Bloomberg over there on the corner top. That was the first time we actually, so I started these things, it's called iftar dinners. If you guys know what during Ramadan, we're fasting, I'm fasting right now. And in these iftar dinners, it's about having the mayor to sit down or elected officials to sit down and break bread together and get to know one another. And that's what I did. And I started it, next time, trying to see if I have it. I should have it. I should have pictures of that. Because it took me a while to get that. It took me, slide. These are reports, percentages, come on. It's gotta be. Good to go. Computers are slow. Okay.
One day, these kids may become FBI agents, police officers, or firefighters, all because they got a taste of what the job is like as a child.
It's nice to see all these police gear and how they used it to like find murder weapons inside the water. I feel like I was a police then and the police.
Just wanted to show you that real quick because it was, alright, so this is the iftar dinners. Let me see it out of the way. Manhattan, Queens, Bronx, where else there is? Staten Island.
Do those happen every year during Ramadan?
So they were happening every year,
Yeah.
but then I got tired.
Yeah.
So now they're happening every year with the mayor, Brooklyn, mayor Brooklyn, and where else? I'm trying to remember. Bronx it just happened, Queens, Staten Island. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, it is happening in Staten Island. Brooklyn is the only one that's slowing down. But that's where I did it. I mean, I was able to do that. You know, I mean, I don't know what you guys. I mean, you're here, you're in college. You know what you want to become. You want to be in medical. I sit on the, what is it? Conversations with Mohammad Hospital and a few other hospitals all the time. That's what I do. I am connected to them, and this data that I have is gold to them, literally gold. I have a health insurance enroller on site. Two of them actually. Yeah, I think I have two of them. So that actually is like amazing for the senior center. We're the only halal senior center that provides meals on wheels, not just in the city, possibly the country. Only one. Right. Now I have the largest Uzbekistanis community. In here, I have 18,000 families that are Uzbekistani and Russian that come in to seek services from us. Tremendously. Latinos, forget about it. I have so many Latinos. 50 of my staff, out of that it's gotta be at least 5 who speak Spanish, just because of that. 4 of them, they speak Uzbek, Tajik, Russian, and something else. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, those are different languages that they have to all speak. That's right. So sorry, I kept talking, I know. I kept talking about it. Yes, any questions, please? That's a tough question, don't be shy.
You ever face any legal challenges?
Oh, big time. The legal challenge that I faced was well, it wasn't legal, I would just say it was just a huge complaint that, so I have the food pantry line. So, the funny thing is, I have people from the community that needs the service and also the community and volunteers that provide the service. So when it's like, a very simple example, this young lady, she's like, no, you have to get back online. You can't just cut the line. She's telling them she's a volunteer for us. However, the person felt, oh, she was discriminating against me because it was during the, remember there was a huge, with the Black, what is it called, Black Lives Matter movement? So people were using that. I'm like, listen, you have to get back at the line. You can't just cut the line. It doesn't matter. But people feel that they can, oh, I'm going to sue you. That's what happened. Those things did that. And still, every other day, someone is trying to, you know, especially the food pantry line. So the food pantry line, oh, I didn't even tell you about the food pantry. Oh my God. So if you see the block over here on the floor, you'll see when you go outside, there's X's on the floor. It went around the block. That's how big my line was. We were providing 30,000 families with food a week. 30,000 families a week. I had about 60 to 70 organizations picking up food from us. I had to get a forklift. There's a forklift outside. Belongs to us. I have 5 buildings. What was supposed to be 5 buildings. And I have another building in another place. Yeah. People are always. Please, any other questions on comments?
I was just gonna ask you, because you were talking about like your own experiences with discrimination, and then as you're training these people, FBI agents, for example, do they reflect, and when they hear your experiences or they hear some of these cases, does it cause them to kind of really reflect and maybe change their way of?
Big time. This young girls that were on the video, so they actually did the national anthem, and when the officers seen these young girls with a scarf, white scarf, doing the national anthem so beautifully, they're like, oh my God, these are just kids. They're American kids. They just have a scarf. And it gave a perception, they changed it. When the kids are like, you know, why are you arresting my dad or my cousin all the time? You know? They'll say it, they're like very blunt. Those little kids up there, no respect. You know? You did this, you know? But it does change. It changed that perception. Right now, as I'm speaking to you guys, yesterday I was on the phone with U.S. Attorney's Office to hold the first Eid celebration with the U.S. Attorney. Now that's a big thing. That's like Christmas. Eid is like Christmas to Muslims, you know? So it's a huge event. Now I'm gonna be holding that type of event or meeting with the U.S. Attorney. We already had the iftar with the NYPD, with the FBI, but now we're at another level, which is so important for the community because it gives them understanding that, okay, we are here. They are here for us, we're here for them. That's a huge thing for us. Yeah, absolutely, all the time. Big changes.
I was just talking to a colleague today, maybe I'll let her hear the video so she can hear what you say. And she was very upset because of police officers coming into Brooklyn College to use the bathrooms. And she was saying that students are scared, and she sees that there's this kind of fear, so she wanted to stop that. What would you say?
Oh, I would say no. You should have more programs having the, you know, in Brooklyn College, I'm trying to remember, there were so many, what are they called, the protests at that time also, and even probably now. We need to engage them in different ways. Like, for example, I mean, when I'm holding these youth conferences or with the iftar dinners, it is wonderful with the police department. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, we had it with the 70th precinct for a senior center event. I mean, that's what I would say to her, to figure out something where you can work with them. Because of the police department or police personnel that started with me with this back in 2021, no, 2002, sorry, lost 20 years there. 2002, because of that, this led to all these works that I started to do. You can always open up the doors. I mean, it's just, come on, these guys are there to protect you. I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Can I ask, so at our high school are all newly arrived immigrants. And it's interesting because some of my American colleagues are like, oh, defund the police, you know, like, but I say a lot of our children, our students, see law enforcement as a career path. or they want to be in their community to help them, and that's one way to do it. So how do we marry those two ideas, you know? Like you said, like the education.
Well, this is, you see, when I was growing up, it was a little bit different now because there's such an influx of immigrants, which I think was every year. Doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is,